More now from Stanlib Chief Economist Kevin Lings. Kevin, thanks indeed for coming in. I mean, that's the basis of your opinion piece today,
That's
just
right.
showing us the difference of what we had expected in 2016 and what we saw yesterday. What's happened since then to lead this deterioration?
There are a couple of things that have happened. The one is obviously the growth rate has underperformed what the Finance Minister thought we'd be able to achieve. So back 3 years ago, the expectation was that the South African economy would gain momentum from a range of issues, including some infrastructure investments, some consumer spending. Clearly, we've disappointed in terms of the growth rate, and obviously when you grow at a much slower pace, this year we're growing at 0.5%, you grow at a slower pace, you collect or generate a lot less tax revenue, and that obviously contributes to the revenue shortfall. At the same time, government expenditures remained incredibly high, including spending on salaries, so government hasn't been able to rein in their spending over the last couple of years. And then in addition, government has had to fund all the state-owned enterprises. So Eskom's required a huge amount more money, SAA, SABC. And so what that's done is government's had to provide that additional finance, and it's borrowed money in order to do that. So you've got a massive increase in your deficit, which is simply the amount of money you spend relative to what you earn. That is way out of control now. And in addition, your debt level has jumped dramatically because you have to fund the revenue shortfall and fund the additional money going to the state-owned enterprises.
The bottom line is that we're not collecting a lot of taxes or enough taxes from businesses which were supposed to be up and running and more people working. So, as you say, we could continue to see this nosedive if that doesn't happen. Kevin, it's all about business confidence, isn't it?
It's right. It's about confidence, both at the business and household level, but I would suggest business confidence is now critical. The reason is that what you need is employment and growth. And so the country has to reflect and say, where do we get growth from? It's very clear that government itself can't stimulate growth by spending more money. They've got to be more disciplined now. They've got to control the debt. They've got to cut spending. They've got to reduce wages, all kinds of things. So government can't be the driver of growth in terms of them spending money. What can drive the growth is if the private sector gets more involved in the economy. Which part of the private sector? It has to be corporates. They've got a decent balance sheet, not a phenomenal balance sheet, but a decent balance sheet. So they could effectively afford to spend more money. At the moment, they've been holding back on that spending because they're lacking confidence. They're lacking confidence because government is not giving them the right environment, not giving them the right policy, the right incentives, etc. So the focus has to shift. Government now becomes disciplined, starts to control this, sorts out the SOEs, and in the meantime finds a way to encourage private sector confidence, business confidence, get business investing, and then you have a possibility of lifting employment growth and taxes. So we have to switch the focus on how we drive this economy.
Just very quickly, I've got a few seconds left. Moody's pronouncing tomorrow. Do you think the outlook would change or we would get downgraded?
So I think the outlook's going to change from stable to negative. That is a precursor to a full downgrade to below investment grade. Clearly the deterioration in the fiscal parameters are so significant that it's hard for Moody's to ignore this. What we've got to take it is a clear warning to start to make significant changes to try and, if possible, avoid the outright downgrade. That would be quite damaging for us.
Kevin Lings from Stanlib, the Chief Economist. Thanks very much indeed.